Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and hello and welcome. How are you, my friend Stephen?
I am doing all right, Raz. How you been doing, buddy?
I am good. Thank you for asking. Here we are again, once again, for our 5-year AEW review. It is good to be here. Alex is here with us as well, watching on Twitch as usual, and we appreciate you, Alex. Thank you for coming on board. So, to bring people up to speed, what we're doing on these shows is we are going over AEW and Dynamite in the first 5 years. We are taking a look back at episodes that from the show and watching it, and then breaking it down and giving our thoughts and opinions on the show. We have a hell of a lot to talk about tonight from the first episode, because we are starting with episode 1, which was a massive episode. When it was a big thing for what it was when it first started. So let's pretty much get straight into it. We open the show first with the multicolors and the AEW logo, obviously. Now, taking into account, at this time, AEW had only done pay-per-views. This was the first episode of Dynamite that was airing live, and it was on TNT at the time. So we got straight in with the multicolors. Let's talk about that iconic intro to Dynamite. What do you think?
I enjoyed the intro. The intro was pretty good.
Yeah. I think that with AEW, that intro was unique for its time. It was something that different to what was out there with any other company. Having the multicolors definitely stood out, and it made the show unique as well. So I was and went straight after we get into the show. We get in with JR welcoming us to the show, and we are in Washington DC for this show, for the first ever Dynamite. And it turns out that they had just shy of 15,000 people in attendance for the first show. So a jam-packed crowd. What did you think of the first 2 minutes of the show?
Hey, great crowd. It's almost a sellout over there.
Yeah. When we went back and watched this, we were watching it on Triller TV, also known as Fight. So there are going to be things that we review here that are going to be different to what was seen on TNT, because on Triller TV at the time, they were starting to work out, or they hadn't worked out yet, how to do the commercial breaks and stuff correctly. So we were seeing things on Triller that you don't necessarily see in or on TNT or in picture-in-picture. So that's one thing we need to let people know of.
Like that better than commercial breaks.
Yeah. I always enjoy it more watching it without the commercial breaks, because it's better that way. You don't have to put up with thousands and thousands of ads, and it doesn't have to be overbearing or the same repeated ad over and over again.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So straight after after JR welcomes us, we get a video package highlighting Cody Rhodes. And we go to our first ever match of Dynamite, which is Cody versus Sammy Guevara, which, as you can see here, this is the jam-packed crowd. We've got Cody already in the ring, Sammy Guevara there. We've got Aubrey Edwards as the referee for this match.
And Brandy at ringside.
Yep, Brandy has accompanied Cody to the ring. Sammy has come out wearing his patented
looks like a panda gear, isn't it?
Yep, panda headgear. And for any of those playing along at home who are WWE fanatics, you will see right behind Aubrey Edwards, green shirt guy was in the crowd.
Yeah, behind Aubrey, yeah.
Yeah. The green shirt guy, famous for his WWE stints of being front row, he is in the crowd.
Bless you.
Sorry about that.
So that time of year, man.
Yeah. Alex says we get one of the best crossroads sells in AEW. He is not wrong. This match is just shy of 15 minutes long. At one point, we get Cody hitting his suicide dive on Brandy outside the ring.
Actually, Sammy moved Brandy.
Yep, Sammy moves Brandy into the position, and we get Cody hitting the suicide dive onto Brandy. But Cody ends up winning this match with an inside cradle.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think, going back and watching it, what did you think of the match itself?
It was a good match. I enjoyed the match. That's the first time I ever seen Sammy on TV personally. But I heard he was in the NWA before he went to AEW. But it's the very first time I've seen Sammy wrestle. He's a good wrestler, and it's good. It's a good match. I enjoyed it.
It's funny because I went back and I've watched All In from 2018, and I looked at it and I'm like, hold on, there are people here that I don't remember seeing at the time, but have come and been on AEW since. Like Bandito. Bandito was on All In, but I didn't remember seeing him on All In when I first watched it. It's interesting. So after the match, we get Tony Schiavone going into the ring. We are going to have one of the most explosive moments of because Tony Schiavone wants to interview Cody. Sammy interrupts, and we get the infamous handshake between Sammy and Cody.
Mm-hmm.
Straight after that, we get
You there?
Yes, I'm here. Oh, I am here. Don't worry.
There you are.
Sorry.
All right.
So after that handshake, we get the infamous attack from Chris Jericho on Cody Rhodes, and Jericho hits the code breaker twice on Cody. He continues the beatdown through the commercial break and then power bombs Cody through 2 chairs. This is obviously our big first shock moment. What did you think? What did you think of this big shock moment when we went back and watched it?
I was like, wow. I didn't think Jericho would be a heel again.
He was the champion, and he won the belt from beating Hangman Adam Page at the previous Fyter Fest, I believe it was.
Yeah, Fyter Fest.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first segment that's the first big section of the show. How are you feeling, like, looking back at it now after 5 years of where they started and how the show started compared to how they start shows now? How do you think the changes happen, and what do you think's happened in that?
Well, they were learning the ropes, the first episode and all that. And once they work their way up, it's getting a whole lot better.
Yeah. I think we got a good standing point here with AEW at the moment. Generally, 99% of their shows will start with a wrestling match. They won't start with any interview. 99% of shows will start with a wrestling match, and it's usually a quality wrestling match. I think that's one thing AEW has continued to do.
Mhm.
They've given us quality matches right from the get-go. So we've been able to go in strong. Besides last week when it was an absolute shit show. But we're
Yeah.
not going to talk about that. We're not going to go over that again because we discussed
Now,
that.
what's that show again now?
Alex says, I will say Jericho as Le Champion was his best gimmick in AEW. I agree. The
Let's get up
Painmaker was
there
okay.
with Painmaker, though.
Painmaker was okay. The
learning
the
tree.
the narcissist learning tree that we've got now is painful to watch. I can't. Like I get it, but at the same time, I don't want it. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Paymaker was more of him bringing his New Japan gimmick. Yes, you are not wrong. So we can't really call it an AEW.
Well, it's kind of like Jericho. It's like Finn Balor with the Demon. It's Jericho's alter ego, the Painmaker. So
yeah. So after that, we go to the second match of the night, which is, funnily enough, Brandon Cutler and everybody's favorite devil, MJF. And yes, Brandon Cutler would actually wrestle. He wasn't just a stooge backstage. He would actually wrestle. So
I wonder why he's not wrestling anymore, though.
I think he got an injury at one of the shows, and it pretty much just left him out. Good question, actually. I will Google where the fuck is my mouse. I will Google that.
I was just wondering. It's been over a year or two since he wrestled.
He suffered since he broke his face.
Oh, that's wrong. That's understandable there.
Yeah, when he broke his face, that was back in 2021. Ouch. Yeah, so he's been out for quite some time. I think he has wrestled maybe one or two times since, but he doesn't really wrestle that much anymore. I mean, it was still good. He was still a stooge backstage, but he was more prominent stooge than before. Yep, you're not wrong there, Alex. Winner of that match was MJF by submission. He locked in Salt of the Earth, and that's how he won the match. Good showing from MJF. MJF did come out on the microphone, so he did start out by teasing the crowd.
Hasn't changed a bit from first episode, hasn't he?
He's improved. His mic skills have improved, and he's been pushed further up the card, but definitely has not changed much of his character. We've seen developments in his character, but we haven't seen a full psychotic change, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's a traditional style character and it works. He said he's still the salt of the earth. You're not wrong.
He's just a pain in the ass, is what he is.
Not wrong. If you were to ask Dylan, he is the tribal chief apparently, but that's Dylan, and anyone from New York thinks the same way, pretty much. So that was that. We go to a segment where we have Chris Van Vliet interviewing Jay and Silent Bob, or Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes, for the who are in the crowd watching. We then get Private Party and TH2 coming for a segment showcasing that they're on the show as well. They exist in the AEW universe. At this time, this was when tag teams were a big thing. So I was really kind of happy to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We then also got the announcement of the World Tag Team Title Tournament. So they announced that was going to start on the second episode of Dynamite, where you'd have Private Party and Young Bucks facing off, Lucha Brothers and Jurassic Express, the Dark Order, who had a bye, and then Best Friends versus SCU. So that's going to be on the second episode, but they announced it tonight, or they announced it on the first episode, so that they could give us, so that you'd have a reason to tune in, which I think was fantastic.
Yeah, man, I met Stu Grayson with Dark Order. Man, he's disappeared to thin air.
Yeah, it's been there's was some amazing tag teams back at the start of AEW. I thought TH2 were going to be a quality tag team in the company and survive. Unfortunately, we know what happened there. They don't really exist. Funny you say that, Alex, because the next segment we go to is a video package from these boys. We actually go to a video package from SCU. So we go to them standing on the lawn. Jay White, not Jay White. What's his name? I missed.
Well, Kazarian, Scorpio Sky, and Christopher Daniels.
Yeah, Scorpio. So Scorpio is acting like Barack Obama, and then there's the Secret Service of SCU. When we come back from that video package of them, we then go to an interview with them and Tony Schiavone.
Interesting.
But they get interrupted by the Lucha Brothers, so who are coming out in suits. And Ray and Phoenix, this for me was great, because you had your big, I wouldn't call them big stars, but your more known stars in SCU, and then you had the newcomers Penta and Phoenix taking it to SCU.
Mm-hmm.
Scorpio was the leader of the Three Rings, and Lucha Brothers in suits. Yes, they have actually appeared in suits quite a lot.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, it's weird but good at the same time.
And I wish Scorpio Sky would get back in the ring, though. Man.
We then next go to the Bucks and Kenny being shown in their locker room, followed by Jericho and Santana and Ortiz. JR apologizes to them, or apologizes to Jericho, saying that they were eavesdropping. They shouldn't have been eavesdropping. Not so much in that regard. That was just a thing. We then went to this one, the next match of the night. So what are we? Third match in for this show.
That was a great match, though.
Hangman versus Pac. Now, we have a problem with this, because when we watched it on Triller, it went to a no, Chris did not say at first, hi, guys. On Triller TV, you are not seeing commercials.
Yeah.
You are in America, they'd gone to a commercial straight after the entrances of Hangman and Pac. They'd gone to a commercial break, and for the entire time that the match was supposed to have started, we had Pac outside the ring and just walking around trying to cause a delay, so that the match didn't start until they were back from live TV.
Yeah.
One thing about it was that I do have to say is that this was where AEW didn't understand the timing of commercial breaks at the time.
Yeah.
Because I believe you'd had Hangman's entrance, a commercial, you got Pac's entrant, or no, we'd had we'd just come back from commercial.
Did they do picture-in-picture during the ring entrances?
Not at the time. Not at the time. They weren't doing picture-in-picture then. We'd had Hangman and Pac's entrance, and
Hi, Courtney.
but then they went to a commercial. Hi, Courtney. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. But then they went straight to a commercial, so that led to Pac having to be on the outside of the ring and delay the start of the match.
You all right, man?
Sorry about that. Yeah, just a bit of a cough. Sorry about that.
All right, man. All
right. So yes, we had the delay. When they come back from commercial break, that's when we get into the match. Quality fucking match. Like,
I enjoyed it. Good match.
Yeah. Got to give Pac a medal for stalling for that long. You really, really do. It was about 3 to 4 minutes worth of stalling, because for some reason the commercial break was so damn long.
You probably just on turnbuckle.
On Triller TV, as I said, at this time you weren't seeing a commercial break or just an AEW logo. You were seeing what was happening live in the arena, so you would actually see what was going on and stuff like that. It looked awkward. It looked really awkward. If you didn't know what was going on, he should have been flipping off the crowd. He probably was. I don't remember like seeing that though. But
well, he's the bastard. What do you expect?
Yeah. Park ends up winning this match after hitting a black arrow and then locking the brutalizer straight in.
I love that submission hold of his.
There is I don't think I've got a picture on here. Yeah, I don't have a picture on here, but there was a picture that is literally he hits it and then you just have him locked in on that brutalizer.
It looks pretty good too. Yep.
Yeah. It looks amazing.
It was.
We then go from that to a Full Gear 2019 promo. So where we're going to see Cody Rhodes versus Chris Jericho for the world title. Yes, it is a perfect transition. You are not wrong. Yeah, so he'd hit the black arrow, then done that. Next up, we got we got Britt Baker coming out to the ring. She wants to do commentary. Have I done that? Oh, no. Okay. And we're getting this match, which is Nyla versus Riho for the AEW Women's Championship, Women's World Championship.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, timing issues with commercial breaks. Literally after Rio done her entry, they went straight to a commercial break, which once again AEW learning curve for them. So I give them that leeway on this show.
Yeah.
From there, we go to obviously we get the match. Nyla attempts to use the chair, but the referee stops it. At the end, we all know that Rio wins the match to become the. She is a package. She can't stall. True. We all know that Rio wins the match and ends up becoming the AEW Women's World Champion with this belt right here. The first
that belt changed a lot. Holy cow!
In a 6-month period, I think we got 3 title changes of the look of the title. We got this one, which was the first iteration. We got one that was slightly bigger for the second iteration. And then we got a development of a third belt, and then to what we are now.
To Rio's left is Michael Tozawa, right?
Yes. Mike, this is actually this is a part of the reason I chose this picture, is because straight after this, Michael after the match, Michael Nakazawa comes in to interview
Nakazawa,
Riho.
excuse me.
Yeah, he comes in to interview Riho. Now, obviously, Nakazawa is Japanese, so he's going to try and interview her in Japanese. Nyla Rose comes in and attacks and then power bombs Nakazawa, with Kenny making the save.
Yep.
Yeah. Kenny makes the save at the end of it. Do any of us remember his theme? I sure as hell don't. Hello, Jake, joining us. I sure as hell don't remember Michael Nakazawa's theme.
Refresh our memory, Alex. Refresh my memory.
Yep. Alex, refresh our memory. Sing it in the chat. If you can. If you can. If not, we'll get you up on screen and you can sing it for us. So yeah, Kenny comes out to make the save, and this is obviously before the main event.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a solid hour and 40 or hour and 40 minutes of the show already.
Mm-hmm.
that we've just gone through. It's not an overly stacked show, as you can tell.
It's taken kind of like baby steps, is what it is.
Yeah.
They're learning the ropes.
We definitely got some feelings of big things right from the start with that Cody match, and obviously JR welcoming us. It was legit called Get Greasy. That's the name of the theme.
Gotcha.
Fair enough. We then go on to the main event of the show. This main event is renowned because there is so many things that happen in this main event. It is just goddamn insane. So for this main event,
I cannot stand that Young Bucks theme. Delete. I hate it.
It wasn't the super kick party thing. It was the elite theme.
Yeah.
So, but we had so much happen in this show, and so much happened just in this main event, because it was the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega taking on Chris Jericho, Santana, and Ortiz.
Mm-hmm.
So we get the Young Bucks making their entrance, or Young Bucks and Kenny making their entrance. Once again, AEW struggles here because we go to a commercial break.
Mm-hmm.
But in that commercial break, we get Kenny and the Bucks hyping up the crowd. Now, as I said, you can see this on Triller TV. You can see it on that, but you won't see it on TNT. You won't see it on anything other than Triller TV. They're hyping up the crowd. And they did really, really well for what they were doing, like having to stall until they came back. When we come back from commercial break, we get Jericho and Santana and Ortiz's entry, and we start the match. It's a pretty solid start to the show, to the main event of the show. We're going to see a lot here. At one stage, you've got everybody else besides Kenny Omega outside the ring. And at that point, we get this.
Oh, yeah.
Moxley showing up in the match and attacking Kenny Omega. This segment right here blew the roof off the crowd at the time. And we got Kenny... the Death Rider. You're not wrong. We get Kenny and Moxley. Rolling their way from the ring up into the stands and through the crowd. It was probably one of the best segments that they had in regards to a match. And for a first ever show, you had to hook people. You had to hook people, And I'm pretty sure this next section right here did, where Moxley puts Kenny through a glass table.
Yep. That was awesome.
That was like it was a holy shit. And people were like, oh my God, AEW has just done this on live TV in front of 15,000 people.
They're all going, ECW, ECW.
Pretty much. It was pretty much an ECW moment. That's the heel Mox we need, not this current one. I'm keen to see where it plays out after tomorrow, after the pay-per-view, of where we're going with Moxley and what's going to happen from here.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be very interesting. I'm looking forward to it tomorrow night.
We also get one of the funniest things when we're in picture-in-picture or in commercial break, and that's Jericho grabbing a microphone and asks who threw a wiener into the ring, because someone had thrown a wiener into the ring.
Somebody missed this.
He's like, who threw the wiener? And it's like, it was one of the funniest things and it just stands out. The Bucks end up left alone in a 3-on-2 match, as Jericho ends up getting the win in this match with the Judas effect. Cody comes out to make the save, but gets beaten down. We then get Sammy Guevara coming out straight after, and he kicks Cody in the balls. So we get the turn of so we get the turn of Sammy Guevara. He joins Jericho. Dustin then comes in.
Circle.
Yep. Dustin then comes out to make the save on there. Once again, we get another big moment where we get this man, Jake Hager, making his AEW debut, and the crowd chanting, "We the people."
Or I thought JR would have a heart attack when Jake Hager came to the ring.
He really did.
Oklahoman.
Big moment for the show. Big moment. Securing Jake Hager to a contract. Not like massive, but it was something big for the show. We the people. Yes, Alex, we the people. Wrong faction, wrong show. Wrong show there, Alex. We then go to what is going to end this show, and the final thing we see of the show is just Jericho, Santana, Ortiz, Sammy Guevara, and Jake Hager all at the top of the ramp. After Jake Hager's put Dustin through a podium, and we have ended Dynamite with basically the destruction of the baby faces known as the Elite.
Yep. I enjoyed that first episode. That was a pretty good episode.
If you were to rate this on a scale of 1 to 10, say like you went back, or like, what would you rate this now watching it?
Well, I'll give it a fair grade, because that's a rookie. You know, they're learning the ropes and all that. I'll give it like a 7.5 range, 7 around the area, 7.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly fair. I think that this episode, they were learning their feet. They definitely done really, really well with what they had, and the talent that they had, and trying to get the timing right. A lot of things they were learning was about timing and going to commercial break at the right time, getting the wrestlers out with enough time for a match to start before having to fuck off to a commercial break. This was the most damn near perfect show they had without the stalling, but I think Pac boosted it up by 1 stalling.
Well, the best match was Pac and Heyman, in my opinion. Best match of the card.
Yeah, it definitely was. It definitely flowed straight through. It didn't feel like you were watching segment after segment after segment.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like you were watching the show right from beginning to end, and excuse me, and it stayed consistent. Um, I feel that it was one of the better. It was definitely a great start to a product. Um, I've been going back at night time and watching the old the TNA, and I look at that compared to AEW, and I'm just like, there was so much difference in what that was in the presentation. Not, I get it. There's different technology, but it, when AEW came with Dynamite, it felt like it was a legit contender to be a secondary company, not just a first, like not just a another company alongside TNA.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think, Stephen?
I enjoyed that AEW. I like AEW better than TNA, to be honest with you. So
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. You know.
I definitely think that this is one of those things. It was a unique show
Yeah, it was.
to
It
put
was.
on, and they were pushing shit uphill to get the viewers. They were pushing shit uphill to get a standing, and I think they came out very, very solid
Yeah.
because
It was.
you've come in. You've come in with a crowd that is just shy of 15,000. You've got your opening match being your veteran, and your new guy, Sammy G. Um, so you've got your opening match. You've got a solid segment where, you're crowning a new world women's champion. So you're making a champion on the show, and you're getting segments where you've got the second biggest signing that you've got, which is John Moxley,
Mm-hmm.
and you get the debuting Jake Hager as well, who everybody knew from his WWE days as
Yep.
well.
Yep.
So you've created moments in history. You've definitely created moments in history. Take me back to 2019. Can do that in the Discord.
Yeah.
That's where we do it. So ABJ's Discord, if you are new here, if you haven't been here before, as part of ABJ's Discord, we will be doing reviews of these episodes and watch-alongs of these episodes to prepare for this show. Won't always be announced, but it will just be when we're ready to. We are going to be doing this show weekly. Where If you were to rebook any of this, what would you rebook, Stephen?
What does it rebook?
Yeah. If you were to rebook any of this episode.
Let me think a minute.
Sure.
The Sammy Cody match with the
Okay.
when Sammy grabbed Brandy. I don't think shouldn't have done that. But what do you think?
I think it worked really well because it gave us that what we at the time you wouldn't have thought of it until the end of the show.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have thought that Sammy was going to be the bad guy, but then at the end of the show, it's like, oh, hold on, he actually did that on purpose. So I think it really fits very well. I think for me, I wouldn't rebook any of this. I would just I would work out the timings. I'd work out the timings because timing is the biggest thing. The fact that you had two segments where you had to delay the start of matches because you had to go to a commercial break. That's not a good thing for the arena, the fans in the arena. It's okay for when you're watching on TV because you're not there, you're not experiencing that, and you now have to just wait. And it's like, okay, if there's hype around these two killing each other and they just have to stand there for 5 minutes while they're in a commercial break, it doesn't look good.
It does.
You know what I mean?
Yep, it doesn't look good at all. But like you said, that they're learning their ropes with the commercial breaks and everything.
Yeah, it's definitely for me a great first episode to any TV.
Hey, I love the episode. I really do.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I really do.
It's a standout. It makes you feel. It felt fresh. It felt new, especially with what WWE was putting out at the time, which was the same repeated crap. It was the same stuff over and over and over again, and we had the same people being forced down our throat constantly. We were getting new talent, new locker room, new matches, new segments, and it was really, really good. Alex says, I will honestly say that in 2019, 2020, AEW was prime AEW, which is sad since they started. Look, I'm going to say that AEW may have started in that year, and yes, it was prime because it was fucking fresh and it was brand new, and it was the new kid in town. It was the shiny new toy. 5 years later, we are seeing things differently because we're expecting better from them. And we've been given so much quality from AEW that they just need to do better. 2024 is catching up. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
2024, I think going into 2025, besides last week's or this most recent Dynamite, has been a constant upgrade in the quality of what we've been getting. We've been getting better matches, better promos. The shows have been more connected, and it's beginning to feel good again to be a wrestling fan.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Like, I will say that yes, WWE has stepped up their game, but they're still not great. They still struggle with things. They might be getting more attendance, but doesn't mean that they're going to be. It doesn't mean that they have the best quality product. They have a production team that has been around for fucking 75,000 years, and know how to do this. AEW's been around for 5 years, so it's going to be a big jump. It's going to be a learning curve. The first 5 years are always the hardest. And look at them now. Look at them now. They've got a multi-million-dollar rights deal for the next 3 years with an optional 1 year. Sometimes I dream about AEW 2019, especially for an eye for an eye. Yeah, comparing the 2019 WWE eye for an eye match to anything AEW did was just, it's insane. There's so much. I think that in 2024, a lot of people have taken for granted what AEW have brought out there, and they made WWE step up their game. There's a reason WWE's quality is getting better. Are they perfect? No, I don't. Do I enjoy their product? Sometimes, but they're not the product that I really enjoy, which is like AEW. AEW gives me quality talent that can tell stories in the ring, gives me great matches, and every time they're on pay-per-view, whether it's their number one pay-per-view or they're one of their big pay-per-views, or the B grade pay-per-view, they give you 100% each time.
Yep.
I think at the end of it all, across 5 years, we've been delivered some quality talent. Oh, that would be insane. 2019 John Moxley versus 2024 Ospreay.
I think Ospreay was in Japan at that time, wasn't he?
He was. Yeah,
in 2019.
but that would have been insane. That would be insane. That's pretty much brought us to the end of this episode for today. Now that we've looked back at it, now that we've watched it, what are your thoughts here, Stephen, on the whole show as an overall? And what do you think has changed between that first episode to what we've most recently seen?
Well, everybody's been dogging AEW. They're comparing it to WCW because they're going to the Turner Network, and all that. But I enjoy AEW. I really think I like AEW better than WCW compared to,
Yeah.
But AEW is getting better. It's going to get better. I don't hate AEW. I love AEW. I really like AEW better than WWE right now. Even though I watch WWE, but not as much as but
the problem I have is that everybody keeps writing off AEW, and they've been doing it right from the start.
They don't want you to have success. Rather, yeah.
There has been this constant tribalism of people pushing that narrative of that they're going to be gone in a year, they're going to be gone in 2 years, they're going to be gone in 3 years, they're going to be gone in 4 years. They're not going to get it
every year. They will say it every year.
They're not going to get a TV renewal. They're not going to get any more money. Mm-hmm. Fucking look at what happened. They just announced $185 million a year per year for the next 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just in TV rights. That doesn't include sponsorships. That doesn't include any extra revenue they make from the shows and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I saw John, immediately thinking, if they give them the world title, they are golden. At the time, yeah, it was perfect to have. The smartest move AEW did at the time was putting the belt on on Chris Jericho, because he brought legitimacy to that belt.
Yep.
Because he was the known guy. And then you had him facing people like Hangman Page, like the bastard son of the plumber, Cody Rhodes, who started this company to really go and say, let's avoid the traditional and give you something new. You've got people like Darby Allin, Scorpio Sky.
Mm-hmm.
Darby Allin in 5 years has progressed. He's a fucking psycho, but he has progressed dramatically. Hangman, definitely. Hangman has changed from when he started 5 years ago to now. We've got some big stars now coming out of the company. Look, WWE took Cody. They've taken Punk back. They took Jade. If WWE didn't think of AEW as a problem, they wouldn't be taking these people.
Yeah.
There's a reason Cody went back.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason Jade went to WWE. Jade went there for the machine of WWE so they could push her into movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think ultimately we're not going to get onto the Punk situation because that will just be here for like 6 years.
Another episode, another time.
Yeah. Hunter wasn't fearing for his life. Probably not. We are going to get out of here very, very shortly. What episode would you like to do next there, Stephen?
Buddy.
I'm thinking maybe we go for episode. Alex, what one would you like to do? What would you like to do?
I'm not picky at all, guys. I watch any of what y'all pick dish out, and I'll watch it. To refresh my memory.
It doesn't have to be episode 2. It can, because we can go back and forth and chop and change between the timeline. I'm thinking maybe episode 50.
That'd be fine.
So we've just done episode 1, so we can then go and see how the changes are from episode 1 to episode 50. See essentially what's changed in a year's time from there. Because remember, in episode 50, we've come into the pandemic era. So,
yep.
Which is the one where John gets his back and stabs Ortiz? Good question. We can find that. I'll find that. We'll tee it up over the Discord, and we'll get on there and we'll have a chat about it and sort out which episode. At this point in time, we will be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, same. We will be reviewing AEW 5 years in after, and we thank you everyone for joining us.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, Alex, for being here on the.
I'm going to do a Jericho instead of saying. I'm going to do a Jericho instead of saying hi, guys. Bye, guys.
Have a wonderful day, night, wherever you are in the world. Have fun. We will be back next week with another episode of AEW's 5-year review.